Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Find a Way podcast with Dusty taking a break from the I Want to Run series. We've got part 3 already recorded. We're going to go into part 4 soon. But let's just talk about the journey itself. The journey of the constant journey. The journey never ends. I don't oftentimes come in with some long old bullet points that I need to get through, which just from the hip. We're just shooting from the hip here, hoping something sticks and something encourages you along the way. And I just have a feeling that I need to just really let it settle in here, that this is a journey that never ends. Technically, because when you pass, there's not going to be like, I'm still on. You're on this journey until you pass, and you're elongating your journey by going on the journey. Like, you're going to live a longer life by taking care of yourself. And it's such a respect for single moms, because I was raised by a single mom. I see how hard it is to raise children, and the fact that there is only one raising the child is it's absolutely wild and mind-boggling. And now that I've got 2 under 4 years old, it's absolutely wild what single moms go through. They're able to go through it because there's a level of expectation that I'm not going to have any help, and I just got to make this work. I just have to make this work. There's so many things in life that happen that we don't wish or want to happen, but they are. It does. And we adjust our expectations. I think about someone that was making a 6-figure job and, making a whole bunch of money, $200,000-$300,000, all of a sudden gets laid off, lose their job, and then can't find anything that only pays, $75,000 a year. And all of a sudden now there's a real big adjustment that you need to make. You make it work because you have to, but there's a level of expectation, there's a change. And so I think saying and really establishing and letting it settle into you is that you're going to be on this journey for the rest of your life. You're going to be taking care and prioritizing your health for the rest of your life. And they're going to have moments where it's going to go really good one week, really good 1 month, and it's not going to go good 1 week, and it's not going to go good 1 month. But you're constantly focused on doing what is best for you and not putting blinders on. I think that's one thing that I really say where I got in the most trouble on my journey is when I avoided the truth of I'm gaining weight, or I'm not eating what I'm supposed to be eating. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not getting out and exercising. I avoid it. I avoid it. It's like someone I don't want to talk to in a room. I avoid that person. I avoid the topic. I avoid weighing myself. I avoid checking the scale, because all of a sudden, like, man, I just shot up 30 pounds. You didn't just shoot up 30 pounds overnight. You ignored it long enough to where eventually you got to a point where you were over 30 pounds. And so setting the expectations, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life, is going to adjust your expectations of this isn't just some big old grand old just I gotta push it for a second, and after that second is done, then I'm just going to be relieved and not have to worry about it anymore. And I'm actually getting a cramp, weirdly enough, in my midsection as I'm doing this. I'm driving right now. I'm driving back from the half marathon that I just did, and I'm getting a cramp like right around my belly button, like where it's like spazzing. So if I sound weird, I just find a way to do a podcast when you're spazzing. Woo! Okay, it's settled. Let's see, I got my nutrition. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, maybe it's just taxing to run a half marathon 3 months after surgery. But I did the half marathon. We can talk about that towards the end, but I completed it. Felt good. Got to a time that I wanted, and it was good. But the spasm's gone. Hope it doesn't go back. But I mean, settling into an expectation of you're always going to have to be on this is going to help maybe mentally adjust, not just an event based or a high and low, but really just, all right, I got to take care of myself for the rest of my life. I got to stay consistent. I got to keep putting in the work. When it's Monday, it's mandatory Monday. We got to put in the work. Okay? It's a constant thing. I've got to constantly take care of myself. And so we've got to level that. We've got to really settle that. Ask yourself, are you hyping up the end of your journey too much to where the transition from a hyped goal weight to a maintenance is two drastic different things? Because that's one thing that will happen. You'll get really excited. You'll constantly be losing, get to your goal weight, and then it just gets boring because nothing happens. You just stay the same weight. That's it. You're in maintenance. You completed it. And it gets boring, and there's no dopamine hit when the scale shows lower. It's just strictly, you're there. Now stay there. And really leveling and setting the expectations is really important. I want to level that. Quickly talk about the half marathon. So I am roughly 13 weeks. Is it 13 weeks? 13 or 14? 13 or 14 weeks. So the 17th, today is the 22nd. The 17th is when... 17th of June is when I had the surgery. It's now September 22nd, so 3 months and 5 days. And I have done a half marathon. Now, it felt good. Didn't feel like doing half marathons like I've done before. The energy, what I had. But I will say that I have been able to kind of get kicked back in once running became kind of a normal thing and a rotation. I've been able to kind of kick back in, even though I'm a little bit more tired and spazzing, which you have experienced. I'm spazzing a little bit more than normal. That's kind of the cool thing, is that I'm able to kind of get back in the swing of things. And I will say that right before I was able to, probably got the darkest. And I don't know if we've talked about this. I've got 12, 13 minutes until home, so if this is going to be a longer episode, if you like those, then this is it. But let me just talk about this real quick. I thought it was going to be a lot darker mentally for me than it was. I thought I was going to be in a lot... Woo! Spasm! I am working through a spasm. I think it's when I, talk more aggressively that it happens. Yeah, so you're an OG listener if you are still around and you stick with me through the spasm. And it's in the midsection. It's like right... Where is it? It feels like it's like right above... No, right to the left of the... I think this is a recording, so I'm going to press pause and come back. You can resume just like that. So, hey, hi. Spasm averted. We are okay. We are going to continue the grind of the podcast. This isn't really a grind. It's a good chance to talk one way to you all. But really, I thought it was going to be a lot darker. I thought I was going to be in a lot worse of a headspace. And this is where the fact that they took that much skin, and the fact that there were fat cells in there, and the fact that they did lipo, are there potentially things stored. I don't know. I've got to look into it because we talk about hormones, talk about fat cells, triglycerides, and everything kind of how your body holds on to weight, especially those who struggle with PCOS and kind of what that struggle is. I think about that on how maybe I've got some stored things that were leading to more of a darker headspace, and kind of my vice is I'm very negative mentally. Even though I have the front of being very positive and looking for the positive, which I try to, I am typically very negative when it comes to just overall mental approach. And so because I'm overtly negative mentally, I've got to be careful. My wife is very keen on my cues of negativity and the dark cloud, as I sometimes call it. But that didn't really hit. And it's almost like, I can't, I want to explain this, but I hope it makes sense. And I've had some episodes where I've done this, but it feels like my body's trying to go to a place and pull something that it's been to before to relate with how it feels to be in that dark space. But it's almost like it's a broken connection between where my body typically would go to retrieve kind of that stored and how it's just not there, and there's no connection there. And it's not to say that connection can't be made again, through consistency, habits, and pathways. We can get there. You can get there again. But I just felt like I was going to be in a lot darker of a headspace than I wasn't. That I was actually really okay with the amount of time I took off. I got impatient towards the very end, just because it had been 3 months and I had been told that I should be good by now, and the fact that I wasn't. But if I had to walk another week or two, I actually would have been okay. I would have been okay. I would have been down, but not as dark as I used to. And I just wondered if it has something to do with all the fat and skin and the liposuction that happened. I wonder if there was something stored in somewhere. I don't know. Just kind of, something just doesn't make sense on why. And I look at the variables on what happened and what took place and what could have removed that possibility of getting that dark, and that's the only thing I can think of as of right now. So, being able to now get back in the swing of things running wise, I understand that running high and the feeling of a running high, which is feels good. But today I just finished the half marathon. I was actually a floater. They didn't have a specific time pace that I needed to stick with, which was cool. I can kind of go with anybody, and I stuck with the 2:15 group. And there were definitely moments of hardship, but I felt like I wasn't going my fastest, which felt good. And I felt like I finished strong. I was tired, but I wasn't like, I can't wait to get to the end. I'm about to collapse. Like, it didn't feel like that at all. So that feels good to be there. I do need to find a way to push myself, to see where my threshold is, just so I can understand where I'm at. In December, I've got the St. Jude Memphis Marathon. I'm pacing the 5-hour, 40-minute group, which is 12:58 a mile, which is something I can comfortably do. I just got to do it over the 26.2 miles. But I've got some half marathons that I'm going to be pacing. And so I am generally just trying to gauge kind of where I'm at. And I want to see what the skin being gone means. I got 12 pounds of skin that got removed. I wonder what that means now with no 12 pounds of skin. The scale is still up. I'm still swollen. I still get bruise-like feelings on my sides with the liposuction took place, and that's completely normal. But I definitely want to drop weight. I'd love to get down, back down to like 215. That would be a real big goal of mine, is get down to 215. And so I've got some work to do with that, but I can't see why I couldn't do it. So But that's it. I think this particular episode we've been going for 15 minutes. No, not too bad. It's not that long of a one, but setting expectations to start off with. Just kind of giving an update. My wife, give an update on her. She's about 2 weeks into her 5K training. She's super inspirational for me and motivating. She's never run an official 5K, and so she's training for the Clarksville Half Marathon and 5K in November, and so she is getting in the swing of things. She's actually noticing runner's knee, and so she's trying to nurse and take care of runner's knee, make sure she takes care of kind of the body that she needs to rely upon to run. But she's doing the speed work, the long runs, a lot of those things, which is pretty cool to experience. And I'm actually not going to be signed up or doing the race. I'm just strictly going to be with my wife for her run. I'm going to be watching the kids or having the kids with me while we go for a run. So pretty excited about my wife doing her 5K. If you have a chance to follow her on Instagram, she's sharing daily kind of what her workout is, and it's pretty cool. But I think coming up we've got potentially a pacing opportunity in St. Charles, Missouri. And then we've got, I think, 1 or 2 pacing opportunities or pacings that I'm going to be doing in the next couple of months leading up to the 5-hour and 40-minute marathon pacing job that I'm going to do. So excited for what's to come, but glad to be out of the surgery. Now, the surgery itself, I'm hoping for January. I think I'm going to actually check in with my doctor to see what dates are available in January. It would mean that I would need to come up with my amount by 1 month before December. So say if I get a surgery date of January 25th, by December 25th, hey, Christmas, I would need to come up with the entire amount to be ready for it. So that's where probably towards the middle of October, you'll see more of a push for me to share the ability to donate to the final GoFundMe. Essentially, my first GoFundMe, I set a goal and I reached half. And so I essentially shut that one down, had half of my procedure done, and now I'm looking to get the other half, which is my chest. And I want this chest surgery so much more than my stomach, simply because my stomach is now flat. It exuberantly exuberates my chest, and it's a little awkward. Like, whoa, like it's flat here, but it's definitely not, there's something going on. So it's uncomfortable to wear certain clothing and certain shorts. It's uncomfortable to do certain things or wear certain things. And so because of that, I'm very much looking forward to being able to get that surgery. So hopefully in January I'll be able to get that done. This one, the surgery itself is like $7,700. So I'm hoping because it's less than the first time I did a GoFundMe, I'll be able to raise it in a decent time. So I'm thinking middle of October I'll start talking about it, and hopefully by the middle of December, about 2 months, should hopefully give me enough time to raise what I need. So wish me luck on that. The hope is, and the prayer is, somebody who won the Powerball recently just comes across my GoFundMe and says, "Here, let's take care of it," and or Reebok says, "You know what? We'll do a 3D tattooed," because I'm not doing the reattaching the nipple grafting. I'm not doing that. I'm not risking 2 different shapes, weird spots. I'm just not risking it. So we're just going to completely cut it, and then I'm going to get a 3D tattooed nipple. And so that's not actually included in the $7,700, but I'm going to wait until after the surgery, I'm healed and I'm good before doing any kind of tattoo. So I'm probably going to do like henna, like the more longer lasting inks on the skin. I'm going to do that. So that way I can at least have the appearance of having a nipple, but I'll at least be able to choose where it's at. So that way I can make sure it's aesthetic and it's where it's supposed to be. That's the big goal. But if Reebok sponsors my skin surgery and says, "You know what, we'll put together a tattooed 3D nipple for you and pay for your surgery and for the Tattoo? Listen, Reebok, I'll take it. Reebok. Reebok. I was thinking about Nike, but I don't think I want a swoosh. I don't want a swoosh. New Balance, no. The NB, I don't want NB. Okay, well, we're pulling up to the casa, so I will say thank you for listening to this particular episode. Have a great couple of next days until we talk next. And find a way, my friends. Find a way.